It's time for Two Guys and a Goalie with Dustin Nielsen, Matt Cassian, and the goalie, Joaquin Gage.
Hello there, podcast listeners. Thank you very much for joining us. Episode 45, presented to you by Oddshark. Check them out at oddshark.com. We'll play Keep It or Clip It a little bit later on for Sport Clip Haircuts, home of the MVP experience, and we'll have your Popeyes legendary Louisiana chicken poll question as well. And it should be a good episode. We're going to be joined by Shane Hnidy, who's a color analyst for the Golden Knights. Western Canada getting a good dose of the Golden Knights right now, so he's going to join us about halfway through the podcast. It is Dustin Nielsen, Hernan Salas, Matt Cassian, French chef who did not commit a murder. We'll get to that in a second. And Joaquin Gage is back after spending a week as a dance dad.
Yeah. I'm upset.
Why are you upset?
There's a few things I'm upset about, Dusty. But
About us?
No, you guys are okay. Well, I heard I talked to Sean Bell on the weekend. He said I wasn't represented properly on the podcast while I was gone. But
that's on him. He was supposed to represent you.
It was his fault.
No, you guys were ripping me.
No, it was all him.
Was it all him?
It was all him.
I don't want to. You don't want to, like paint one guy with a single brush.
Right.
But he was a huge dick to you.
Yeah.
Huge.
Well, and then driving in here, young Yaremchuk.
Oh yeah.
Ugh, I almost drove to the studio because he thinks it should be a penalty for a penalty killing team. The team is killing the penalty if they ice the puck. There should
A
be
penalty if they ice the puck? No, you mean a whistle? No whistle or a whistle?
I don't
Had
know.
to have been a whistle.
No, it was a penalty. He
was-
said the penalty killing team should not be allowed to ice the puck.
Yeah, but so they could get called on icing still,
Well,
as opposed to now when you don't have to ice it.
What you want, you're just trying to create more.
But it's to give a
Power
bigger
play.
advantage to the power play, I guess.
Well, but power play has already scored. A good power play scores at what? What are the?
Yeah, I'd say you'd be really well.
27%?
No, I'd say a good power play in the league is like 24 to 26%.
yeah.
That's a really good.
Yeah,
power
the
play.
really good
Oilers
power
are like at 29 or whatever, so it's ridiculous.
20% is like a good.
Yeah, you'd be happy with
solid.
20%, right? Like,
So how is that not enough of an advantage?
hey, young kids nowadays, am I right?
Like you need more advantage, or do you not want to play hockey 5-on-5 ever?
Well, okay. Well, what about a full 2 minutes? You score on the power play, you get to keep the power play. Would you be okay with that?
no,
I don't
No?
know.
no. I there's nothing wrong with it.
I agree. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I would just.
This is coming from a guy that plays like Division 36, and he should be playing Division 2. All right.
That is
I don't think that needs to be changed.
That is true.
And that Jay Downton at Oilers Nation, I'm mad at him too.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he opened up that new Oodle Noodle in Terwilliger.
Yeah, it's really good.
And I love my noodles. Like, I love that place. And I'm not part of it at all. Like, I could have been like the Jared of Oodle Noodle without the pedophilia.
I thought you were upset because he was wearing Uggs on Saturday too.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
That's not
Were they like
allowed.
the full boot Uggs?
Yes.
Yeah, with
Yes.
pants tucked in.
Yes.
It's
That's just a fail.
Like the soft ones?
Yeah, like the brown ones.
That's bad because I got a pair of brown Uggs, but they're like boots. Like they're not like the Ugg like soft. Like
you got to bring those in. We got to judge
you
those.
wear Uggs. Cass?
Yeah, you should bring those in.
Yeah.
I'd like to look at them to make a judgment for myself in person because as of this moment, I respect you a little bit less.
I remember.
they're like a pair of dress boots.
Okay, are they soft
Okay.
on the inside though? Like, do they in any way? If I looked at them right now and would I
wouldn't
say
know they're Uggs
those are
unless-
Uggs?
No, you'd have to see the
Does
logo.
it say Ugg on the back?
There is a logo.
Yeah, interesting.
Do you wear socks with them?
Yes.
Okay, well that's better.
Somebody doesn't wear socks with their
You're
Uggs
not supposed to wear socks with Uggs.
because it's so furry inside.
Yeah, but that's,
Jeez.
That's gross.
that's the smell.
Oh, it's just.
The worst thing about Uggs is paying $300 for a pair. God, I remember when I used to want to impress my wife all the time. Like when we were first married, I'd get her Uggs like once a year for anniversary or birthday or something. And now it's like a $20 pair of boots from Walmart. I'm like, here, you're going to wear them out in 4 months anyway. We buy more then.
They're not good for Edmonton weather with the slush and stuff.
Well,
I
the
don't-
salt isn't good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's not a. You're right. Overall, it's not a good boot for our weather. I wouldn't think. Although, Cash, you're the expert.
They're not like furry suede. They're like nice leather boots.
I love how you're
They last for, like,
backtracking
2 or 3
now.
How is my backtracking?
On your furry suede Ugg boots.
Furry suede. I'll wear them one of these days.
Hey, how'd the murder mystery go?
Yeah.
It was good.
For people who listen to episode 44, they're probably intrigued.
Yeah, the only goal I didn't accomplish, I didn't figure out who the actual murderer was because you have your own character goals. I accomplished all my other goals though. So
That's
did what
good
I
then.
needed to.
So do
Yeah.
you win anything?
No, well, you just.
Did anybody figure out who the murderer was?
Yeah, one or two people did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Gee,
one or
man,
two
every
people
time
did.
I've done a murder mystery, we'd never figured it out.
But the people, so my goals, the people I had to talk to were people that weren't really involved. Like none of them were involved in the murder. So chances of me figuring that out were
that's
low.
tough.
But I was able to. I was trying to infiltrate a smuggling ring. So I was actually not a French chef. I was an American Secret Service agent.
Really?
But you were pretending to be
pretending
a chef.
to be a
so
French
you were
chef.
like, oh my God. So you were
I know.
two characters.
Well, yeah, I had the French chef, and the only time I had to reveal, and it was actually for my wife. I saved her life because her father, I basically had to insert myself with a bunch of these rich people who were making money. I figured was off of like smuggling,
Okay.
which is what I was trying to expose this ring so I could arrest everybody. and then the one guy is like, hey, because my wife was his daughter, like there in this
Okay.
thing, and he was like, I wouldn't be unhappy if she takes an accident, and I'll pay you a whole bunch of money. And by the way, I'll make an introduction to the smuggler because I know who that is.
man.
And he was a rich guy. So I'm like, okay. So I had to find a way to convince him that I was actually trying to kill my wife without trying to actually kill my wife.
Wow.
Man, I just watched a basketball game on the weekend.
It was fun.
So
Were
your
you,
night was
uh,
way better than mine.
Did you go like full method? Did you talk with
yeah.
a French accent
Well,
all
I
night?
tried. My French accents, like I do some accents okay. French is not
No?
one of those accents.
You
yeah,
do
so I had like an
Chewbacca,
apron and-
right?
Yeah, Chewbacca's pretty good.
Yeah. See?
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
not bad.
French accent stuff, though, eh?
Yeah, Southern
Yeah.
U.S. I do pretty good. So when I revealed to my wife that I was actually a Secret Service agent, when I told her my plan that I was going to have to fake her murder, then I started talking in my Southern accent.
But you told her it was part of the plan? Didn't you have to do it secretly?
Well, so he was like, the guy first asked us if I could get her out because you can lock people in the brig. If you can get them to go like for private conversation, you can lock them away, which is what I did, but I wasn't actually doing that. I went to tell her like,
Oh, you went to
listen,
say
like,
her.
he's trying to kill you.
Yeah.
You can't, like, you got to get away from this. And then I was like, this is the plan. I'm going to pretend to shoot you. But the thing with shooting is like people get to rock, paper, scissors for whether you hit them or not. So I told her in advance what I was going to.
So you cheated?
No, that's within the rules of the game.
I don't know. You're telling somebody if you're going to shoot him or not.
Well, I'm going to try to shoot you. This is what I'm going to do because I want it to miss.
Oh, you missed.
So
yeah.
so you miss, so you don't go down. So the guy looks, so he trusts me because he thinks that I tried to at
Oh,
least.
and you're trying to infiltrate the group.
I'm trying to infiltrate the group. And then I got in.
And you got in?
And then I got in.
So you became an undercover smuggler.
Well, yeah, I was like, I moves this things off the boat. That
Oh,
was more German than French, but I tried.
I love it. That's good stuff. All right, we've got lots to get to today. Oh, how much toilet paper did you guys buy over the weekend? Did you go load up?
Okay, like
I feel like Sass Cass is going to come out here right now.
I want. Speak your mind, Cass.
Give it to us, Cass.
use common
Bleeping sense.
bleeping sense.
Yeah.
Like, I get if you have 2 months worth of toilet paper, sure, fine. If you get just based on if you read any of the statistics on how long you can get quarantined for and how long whatever, it's like you're in there for, on the high end, 21 to 30 days. So if you have a month's worth of toilet paper, you were fine. You were fine. Now, getting some extra bottled water, great. Having a few extra supplies on hand, great. Like, good things to do in any situation. Absolutely. But like I buy all the toilet paper, like shopping carts full of toilet paper. Like, are you kidding me?
It's ridiculous.
Like, and that, of all things, like if you really need to, guess what? You can walk outside and you can take a dump if you absolutely had to.
It's true.
Guess what? Spring's right around the corner. There's these things called leaves. If you absolutely had to, like, is that the one thing that you need?
Or you could just have a shower.
right.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Get serious here. Like, washing your hands, absolutely. Hand sanitizer, I go like, just wash your hands. Like, you don't, having a little bit, okay, but just like stockpiling for years worth, whatever, doesn't make sense. It's dumb. But it's just, I don't know. It's just people are so, like, think through these things logically. And I love them to death. I have a family member that went out and bought throwing axes. It's like, just in case of home intruders.
Are
I'm
you
like, who's
serious?
going to break it? Like,
And they
everyone's
brought
going to be
throwing
quarantined.
axes?
Wow.
Of all things, they bought throwing axes. Jeez. Do they have experience throwing axes? Holy shit. Gager, how about you on this one, buddy?
Ugh. Toilet paper doesn't even work anyway.
So use baby wipes.
You obviously use it incorrectly.
You're like
Well,
Hall Pass when
you-
he's
you
like,
know-
I'm gonna need a bath.
You know what? Yeah. Next time, just take your hand, wipe your bum, use toilet paper to wipe it off and smell your hand. See if that works. Doesn't work. Baby wipes. All right, and you
Baby
get
wipes are
all-
pretty legit.
Yeah, you get fresh as a daisy back there.
Yeah.
Trust me, I got a lot of experience with pooping. Okay, without toilet paper.
Yeah.
I'm like a survivalist. I know how to do it. A nice wool sock, perfect.
Wool sock, isn't that itchy?
Be a little scratchy.
A little, but you're smooth after, and it gets everything.
One of my old teammates, Eric Nystrom,
Oh man.
he was a huge proponent to baby wipes.
Yeah,
Really?
It's like he was.
Well, it makes more sense.
There's a guy in the U.S., a speaker, a pastor guy by the name of Ben Stewart, and he has a phrase that I love. He says, "You champion what changes you," and I think it's true. And Eric Nystrom championed baby wipes.
Was he like giving it out to other guys and stuff?
He would. I'm pretty sure he took it on the road, like so he'd have it on the road.
Valid point, though. I mean, if you think about it for a second, so we'll wipe a baby's ass with wipes, but then when they get older, you just stop using them.
you got to watch it though, because there are some chemicals back there, and you
get the natural
You can
ones,
get
though.
you can get natural ones. The one thing that you can would save a lot of people is a squatty potty. Sometimes you use that thing, you don't even have to wipe. It just
Actually,
comes flying out of you.
We can tie this into a hockey conversation. Actually,
Okay.
so let's do that right now. I tell people all the time, my favorite hotel in the league to stay in, bar none, was the hotel we stayed in Montreal, because they had the best bathroom in the league, the best, like full bidet. It was like a full electric. You had a whole electric panel right here. Like, so you had like an oscillator. You could change the angle of the bidet, like change the temperature of the water. It had a fan in there, so it would dry you. So if you are really concerned, instead of spending thousands of dollars on toilet paper, go buy a nice bidet, and you can wash your butt all day without toilet paper. Let it air dry, and you'll be fine. Anyways, I love the Montreal. I believe it was the Ritz-Carlton they stayed at.
Seriously?
Yeah, it was the best bathroom in the league. Love that
Jeez,
place.
that's legit.
If I missed something about not playing, it may be that bathroom.
Yeah. Well, when I was on Team Canada, we were in Tokyo, and we had I don't know what it was called, but they had bidets in there. It was all electronic.
Oh,
and
aren't they nice?
you could adjust the flow, the
Yeah.
temperature, the angle.
And there was a fan after? Like,
It took so long for guys to get to dinner when we first got, because everyone sitting in there, like it was amazing. And then there was another thing you can do is when we went up north in Japan, they had a whole wellness spa on the bottom of the hotel, and we would sit there, and there'd be these little benches that you sat on, and you washed yourself sitting on a stool, which is actually really quite comfortable. But there was a hole on the top of the stool, and no one knew what it was for. And then someone grabbed the nozzle and put it under the stool, and then we found out what it was for. Just let's just say, if you could see that picture now, it'd be really funny.
all right, so we'll come back around to that a little bit later on.
I think we should call this episode "Clean Butts." How about clean butts?
Squeaky clean.
Hernan, what do you think? Clean butts?
Yeah, unless something
else pops up. Yeah,
I'm just
that's good.
throwing it out there now.
All right, so Shane Hnidy's going to join us in about 15 minutes. We've got lots to get to. Just out here in the Pacific Division alone, including Golden Knights. They're here in Edmonton tonight on the Monday night. Last night they were in Calgary. They had a 3-0 lead. Calgary scores 3 times to tie it at 3, and then Theodore puts one on net from a bad angle. Looked like Mangiapane stick might have got it up short side, and then they had an empty netter, and all of a sudden the Golden Knights, get by a scare from Calgary, 5-3. That's a tough one for the Flames, though, isn't it, Cass? I mean, you claw your way back, tie it late, and then let it slip away.
Oh yeah, those hurt. Those hurt because it's so close. We played well enough. We maybe could have won, but we didn't. Those ones suck. I hated those ones. Those hurt more than the absolute blowouts.
Yeah.
Because
Especially because you got to work your sack off to get back in it.
Like if you lose like 8-0, you're like, well, that game's a write-off. Like just forget about that one and move on. For this, it's like, man, we were right there. We battled back. We worked so hard. We almost had it, and then we fell apart, or something just didn't go right. Those to me are tougher mentally.
Especially with the point now for just getting through regulation, right?
Yep.
Because you're thinking you get back to 3, like, okay, got that point, and now we'll try to go get one in overtime. Then before you know it, 70 seconds left in the game, and a weird bounce ends up screwing you over.
That's terrible. Yeah, that feeling of, we got back and we're gonna do it. We're gonna get back in this game, and then get that late one, and then lose that extra point that you thought you were a shoo-in to get. Yeah, it does take a lot longer, especially for me, it took a lot longer to recover from, especially if it was a weird one like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because it looked like he was cheating over to his, well, not
Yeah.
even cheating, he was moving to his left,
Yeah.
and then it hit that stick and went short side. It's a real,
That sucks.
it's a real kick in the,
But screw him.
kicking the balls here for the Flames.
They can suck it.
So the Golden Knights roll up to Edmonton now. It's a battle for first place in the Pacific. The Oilers are 3-1-1 in their last 5, but they have allowed 192 shots in their last 5 games, Gager. Goaltending, it doesn't matter who's in net, and Koskinen will start tonight against the Golden Knights, but both of those guys have been absolutely lights out. And from an Oilers perspective, they've had to have been for the last little while here.
Yeah, I mean, I've listened to a lot of people complain about the Oilers play, but it's okay for your goalie to be your best player every now and again and steal some games. I mean, if anything you could say about the Oilers goaltending over the last few years is I feel that an NHL goalie should be able to at least steal 4 to 5 games a year where they really have no business being in. That's the mark of a really good NHL.
And a guy like, let's say he starts 40, like he's stealing 1 out of every 10, or
I would say that, you know, and just being solid the rest of it, which they have been. But I'm completely fine with it. Like it's so many games throughout the year. Like that's the beauty part of being a goalie. That's what I loved about the position, was those types of games and having no clue, and your team's just completely out of it, and feeling part of a team. That's a great feeling for a goalie, and a great feeling moving forward, especially for playoffs, right? So I loved it.
How would you handle these goalies moving forward here, Cass? I mean, Tippett's had a pretty good read on these guys so far. But Koskinen is lights out. What's he stopped? 98 of his last 100 or something? Like he's been
In
on
the
an
last
absolute
2.
Yeah, he's been
In the last 2.
in the last 2.
In the last 2.
So he's been on an absolute tear.
In the last 2.
Do you just ride this? Like, let's say, what if he shuts out the? Now, I don't think it'll happen. I got a bad feeling for the Oilers tonight. But what if he plays extremely well tonight? Do you put him in against Winnipeg again, or do you say, hey, take a couple days off? We're gonna go back to Smith for a couple.
How many games is 2? Is that like? Can we count 1? 2,
and then
2.
another one is 2.
And another one is 2.
Yeah.
So let's go back further.
Okay.
And let's look at his games prior.
Yeah.
How was he?
He wasn't bad. I
Mm,
didn't think he was bad. I didn't think he got a lot of offense compared to some of the games that Smith was playing.
He was okay,
But he's got a .917 save percentage, and Smith is .903.
right?
Like, that's a pretty significant difference there.
It is a pretty significant difference. Let's look at Smith's last 15 to 20 games.
Yeah.
How has he been?
Well, actually, I don't even know if he'd have a .917 save percentage, that group, but he's been winning games.
He's been winning.
He's been winning games,
He's been
which
winning
is
games,
important too.
Which is the bigger
Well, it's
thing.
it's the most important.
The most important thing is winning games, and if your team feels more confidence and you score more with him in net, then great. I'm fine with him playing today. I was a little uncertain if Koskinen was going to. I'm like, put in who's winning games. If they win you games, put them in at this point.
So if he wins tonight, he starts against Winnipeg.
Well, Mike Smith has won you way more games. So what I'm saying is the person that has been winning you games and has continued to win you games, that's who you put in. Koskinen, you're riding the hot hand a little bit here, but if playoffs were to start tomorrow, who's your starter?
That's a great question.
I think it really depends on who you play. Like, I'm surprised.
You mean which team they play?
Yeah. I'm really surprised that Mikko's starting tonight, just because
Even puck movement.
Yeah, stop. But to his credit, he might not be able to pass the puck and move it as well as Smith, but he has made a way better effort of getting out there and stopping it, and that makes a huge difference setting it up for your D-man behind the net. Like, I wasn't a great puck moving goalie, but I was able to get out there and stop it a lot, right? And that makes a big difference.
So they're not chasing it, basically, right?
Yeah. So, and then if it's amazing the way the Oilers defensemen have changed the way they retrieve pucks in their own end when Mike Smith plays. Like, before it was like, come back and get it. You'll see one guy, or sometimes even two, both just go to the sides. And I mean, Smith's even actually hit a couple guys up the middle, which is ridiculous. But
one point he sauced one like over a guy's stick right up the middle of the ice. I was like, oh my goodness.
That was against Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Like that could have been a life-altering moment for a lot of fans in the building. But no, he's obviously very gifted with that skill.
But don't you think that Smith would be the starter just because it seems Tippett trusts him more? Like, it's his guy.
It's the history.
Yeah,
And
of course.
I mean, I think
Like, if they play Calgary, Smith starting?
I think people like qualities they find in other people that they have in themselves. I think Tippett as a player was a battler and a scrapper, and so he looks at Mike and sees a lot of himself in the way that Mike plays. Like, I don't like the fact that he makes some of those saves and he's on his belly all the time. Like there was a few saves that Mikko made the other night, which was an awesome night. But he's so upright, and I forget which one it was in the third period. But I was thinking about what to say on here Monday, watching that game on Saturday, and then I was thinking, I got to have something special to say. But Kelly Rudy always comes up with what I was going to say. I hate it. I thought I was brilliant, but I wasn't. But I would actually give Mikko this game if I was a coach because of the goal in the last minute. Because he thought I think maybe if Mikko gets that shutout, Mike Smith plays tonight. But because he played so well, he deserved a shutout. He's going, you know what? We'll give you another game.
So he's just a little bit not satisfied, right? You get the shutout, you're satisfied. You go, hey, man, good work. We're going to go back.
When Brent Myers was on there, remember he was rewarded going and playing against. I think this is kind of one of those moments where, you know what, you played so well. We weren't supposed to get it. You should have gotten a shutout. We're going to give you another game.
That's fair, I guess. I take the view of it as, you have a team that aggressively forechecks and you want the extra help in the puck, like moving.
Mind you, he lost to the Golden Knights 3-0 last time he played.
Right? Yeah. And he wasn't 0 goals wasn't much of
you're right.
fault.
Wasn't going to win without it.
Second to that is I want to go with, generally speaking, if you're the Edmonton, not even generally speaking, if you're the Edmonton Oilers, you are most likely going to have to beat the Vegas Golden Knights to come out of the division. You're going to have to. So go with what you were going to go with in the playoffs and see how you stack up. And to me, if I'm starting the playoffs tomorrow, it's Mike Smith. He's been better recently. Yes, Koskinen has 2 wins, has played back-to-back for him, 2 good games. But beyond that, Smith has been better down the stretch. That's who I'm going with. That's who I trust. That's who's in the net for me. So that's who I would have started tonight.
Gage, you said it might come down to who they're playing. Is there a team that you think is better suited for Koskinen to start?
I think if I was going to go to the old Smythe division, who would they?
Like, do you like the Canucks? I mean, the Canucks
is who I'm thinking. I don't think, but
what's the difference between them and?
I would actually say, well, Canucks forecheck better than Calgary does. I think. That's too good a skill to.
The puck handling?
The puck handling, yeah. Because it's the first round's going to be, everyone's so jacked up and it's going to be so fast. Like it's not the regular season anymore. Like you hear at the beginning of the year, preseason, it's not the regular season. You have all these rookies go, oh my God, this is nothing like preseason. You get to the playoffs and all of a sudden you get a bunch of these guys that like, you don't get paid anymore. Like you're playing to win at that point, and that's when a lot of guys change their game to go, look, this is my chance to win a Stanley Cup and solidify my legacy as a player and get my name on that thing and get a ring. So there's a lot more at stake, and you find a lot of guys do a lot more intangible things to win games at that point.
Is Koskinen not more active too, though, handling the puck this season?
He's working on it. He's throwing in a few backhands. I still don't like the way Mike Smith doesn't move it right away. Like he always, like I said, he looks for that sexy pass.
Wants to be a playmaker.
Yeah. I would you teach goalies recognize the play when you go out to get it first, like you're shoulder checking, and give it to that guy right away, right? But I think it's tough to watch a guy like Mike Smith because you want to do that. Steve Passmore was like that when I played. He was a really good puck handling goalie, and I sucked. And I remember the one year I went back and I really started trying to play it and move it a lot more because I knew if it got down to between him and I to be the backup with the Oilers, he would get it just because he could, on the penalty kill, he could fire at the length of the ice every time if he got a chance. So I never worked on that, but I just worked on stopping it and moving it as quick as I could.
Just stop it, leave it behind the net, let somebody else take it. Jets and Coyotes, that's a big game tonight. Winnipeg trying to hang in there. Coyotes really trying to hang in there. That brings us to our Popeyes chicken poll question. Try Popeyes legendary Louisiana chicken today. Arizona Coyotes were in first place in the Pacific Division when they pulled the trigger on the Taylor Hall trade. They're right now at the bottom of this wild card battle with the Minnesotas and the Nashvilles and Vancouver and Winnipeg, who they're going to play tonight. They need a win tonight. So the question is, was trading for Taylor Hall a mistake by the Coyotes? Cass, let's start with you, and Hernan will grab us the results of the poll question.
Well, no, it's impossible that it was because they run analytics. They're an analytic team, and so
and he's the driver. Yeah,
the numbers say that no. Then the numbers say that it would have been a good trade. This would be a great trade because the analytics say that this is going to make our team a better team. So no, it was not a mistake.
Gager?
Of course it was a mistake. Jeez. I've said this forever.
So if you think you go back again and you tell John Chayka, you shouldn't trade for Taylor Hall, we don't think it'll help your team, do you think he would actually, I think he'd tell you to fuck off and say, I'm trading for Taylor Hall anyway?
I think, he thought he could. He didn't do his research, man. There's a lot of other things that go on there. I think he's a great player, but individually, I just don't see. I've watched a few Coyotes games, and he's more of a complimentary player than someone to rely on. You have to find the right people for him to play with. He carries, to me, he shouldn't have the puck as much as he does. He needs someone else to carry, maybe like a Backstrom or something to play with, something to do it that way. But he's a complimentary guy that he just never really had the right fit with someone that can make him into the player that everyone thinks he should be.
See, I'm going to disagree because I still think 5-on-5 the last number of years, his points per game 5-on-5 is among the highest. It may actually be the highest points per game in 5-on-5 situations. He's not a power play guy. He's a 5-on-5 driver. I actually don't think it was a mistake made to trade for him. I think you had to try to bring in more offense if you were the Arizona Coyotes. Yeah. Analytics jokes aside, I think you had to. I do think it was the right move. The issue has been, and it will be, there's different players. I don't know if I've talked about this. I know I've talked with you guys about it. I don't know if you talked about it on air. Is that with personalities that some people may find abrasive or pouty, or even if he's not abrasive, like body language, maybe not the best, and people react to that, teammates can react to that, is you need the right buffer players in place. And buffer players are guys in the dressing room that are able to bridge the gap between the ones that react emotionally to seeing a player like that and the guys doing the let's call it initiating. So Taylor Hall has bad body language. People respond to that negatively. You need the people in between that can pull everyone together. That comes down to your leadership group. Sometimes veterans, sometimes it's just a personality thing. And there are intangibles in that you just don't know exactly how a player is going to fit into your room. That being said, I look at their roster construction. They needed to bring in more. I don't think they would have been any further ahead without him. I don't.
Yeah, would you saying so if they didn't trade for Taylor Hall, they're not still sitting at first place in the Pacific? Yeah,
I don't think they are.
Yeah,
I don't think they are.
Which is a fair statement, definitely a fair statement.
Yeah, and they've had things like OEL was hurt for a while. That hurt them.
Well, Kemper, they lost Kemper, who was having a Vezina season when he got it.
That hurt them too. Lack of goaltending. So I get.
Do they?
Your argument makes sense to me, Gage. I understand that. I can appreciate that you would take that opinion.
Yeah,
like that view on it.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. You do need some of those guys sometimes. But I mean, if you already I don't think having Kessel and him on the team together, Misery loves company, and I can just see those two just bitching and moaning about everything together. That is not a good combination.
Well, and that wouldn't sit well with the rest of the guys, or it wouldn't be a good vibe for the rest of the guys.
When your top two guys are they're supposedly top two guys are saying how brutal everything is.
Yeah, if they're too poopy pants, that's where you need buffer guys to.
Well, that's when you need. You know how much toilet paper they need? Tons.
They got garages full of toilet paper
for those two poopy pantses.
Actually, you know what? I went out and bought a whole bunch of hand sanitizer. I'm now selling it for $80 a bottle.
Oh, I'll take two. That's a good deal. It's the cheapest I've seen. Yeah.
I'll just use soap.
That sounds about right. Do we have the poll question results? I know you're lining up Shane as well, but. What do we have?
Hell yeah.
Oh, Hernan's all over it today.
Wow.
This is great.
Best producer ever.
171 votes in. It says 71% agree with Gage.
Say it was a mistake.
I'm a man of the people.
But that being said, I'll say this. Two things to wrap up this one. I still don't mind what they gave up for him. I don't think you're missing a lot of what you gave up for him. And then second of all, it's going to be a really interesting offseason with Taylor Hall as a significant unrestricted free agent on the market. The best guy available for sure, but at the same time coming off a very meh season in which he really didn't accomplish anything. So it'll be interesting to see how it's handled. The Golden Knights last night picked up the win down in Calgary. It was a weird one. We were talking about it a little bit earlier on here on two guys and a goalie, Dustin Nielsen, Matt Cassidy, and Joaquin Gage. Before we bring Shane in, Gage, you played with him in PA.
I did.
So he was saving your ass, I would assume, in front of you?
Yeah, he was. He did.
And Cassie said a little bit in Minnesota, little crossover time in Minnesota with the Wild. He's now, man, what a life he's living.
Yeah.
Color analyst in Vegas. Gager's doing a podcast in the basement of Little Brick with us.
How did this happen?
Shane Hnidy joins us on the podcast today. Shane, welcome aboard. Thanks for joining us. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, boys. Gage or Cass, it's thanks for having me on. When you play for as many teams as I did, I've crossed paths with a lot of people over the years. So.
Yes, yeah, that I remember those days in PA nights. That was hi. Good to talk to you. I haven't talked to you in years. I think the last time I think the last time I talked to you
I don't think we could tell the story.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. No. We can't tell that story. That's okay. That's great. Yeah. Awesome.
Even for a podcast, that story's not allowed.
Yeah, that's no good. But how you been? I see you look tanned. You look healthy. That's a great gig. How are you loving it in Vegas?
Oh, I do. You know what? It was tremendous. Tremendous opportunity. It's not that I didn't, I was in Winnipeg, which is my home province, when I retired from playing and I got into broadcasting. It was great to be with the Jets when they, relocated from Atlanta. It was the Jets 2.0, the excitement of the fans. But when I heard Vegas was getting a team, by that time, I'd been doing TV analyst in games and I wanted it. It's been one of my favorite cities. I had a feeling it was going to work. But never in my wild imagination to the point of what happened in the inaugural season. And now here in year 3, they're still considered a contender. So it's people love hockey down there. It's been better than anything I could have ever expected. Great place to live. And as you know, there's always something to do.
There is always something to do. How do you balance that as far as, you're there, you're living your life there every day, you're working, but then it's also Vegas. Like, how difficult is it to balance things?
You know what, and that's probably the question. People that know me ask me that a lot. I have been able to do it. I think, the interesting thing is you live out, so Summerlin, which is straight west of the Strip, is where their practice facility for the Golden Knights, and it's tucked into the Red Rock Canyon Mountains. So I say it's like living in Scottsdale because you got golf, you got great areas, parks, shopping, restaurants. But if you want to have that night, 20 minutes away, it's a 20-minute drive, or as I would consider it, about a $28 to $30 Uber down to the Strip, and you can go for whatever show, dinner, and with connections. So there's always something there if you want, but you do have the management. And I think the big good thing for me is there's a lot of hockey games in the season, and it's a busy season, so that kind of helps keep me on track.
How much pride does the organization take in being one of, if not the best atmosphere in-game experience-wise in the National Hockey League?
Oh, a lot of pride. I think that's something they wanted to develop. When you're in the entertainment capital, you need to provide a product that's going to entertain people. And I think it's important to do that now with the price of tickets. And I know this in Canada, everywhere. When you're paying what you do to go to a hockey game, we all love hockey. That's what we grew up with. But you're paying now more than just for the on-ice product. There's got to be stuff, whether it's the amenities, whether it's the entertainment. And I think Vegas has done a real good job of, doing that. Would what they do work everywhere? Maybe not. But I think each and every, market can build to their identity and entertain people outside of just the game. And Vegas has done a great job of that. It is not dropped off since year one. Each and every game is just electric.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it. How would you, Shane, compare, just from a culture standpoint, the perspective of a Vegas fan versus, let's say, a fan in Montreal, Canada?
Well, obviously the fan in Montreal, hockey's been part of their life since they pretty much came onto the earth, and they've learned and watched the game. I think, and they have a diehard passion, and that passion is in Vegas. They're still learning the game. A lot of people have come really knowledgeable, but I think us as an organization have really put it out there to teach people. We do, hockey, at the grassroots level has grown dramatically since we got there. Just the thing is, you got to get more ice sheets, and we're building 2 more ice sheets. We're bringing an American Hockey League team in to Vegas, so hockey is absolutely booming down there, and people have a real passion for it. The marketing slogan "Vegas Born" was brilliant because that's there. Yeah, we're going to get the NFL and all that, but that's coming from Oakland. Golden Knights were Vegas born. That's the kind of the trademark for everybody, that they love that, and it's an attachment. Anybody talk that's been in Vegas for a long time, the Golden Knights coming has given them a sense of ownership, a sense of pride of being from Vegas, because you get tired of hearing where you're from. Vegas, the Strip. Now people hear you, you're from Vegas, the Golden Knights. It's so the fans are coming. You can't compare them to the huge markets, the original 6 type teams, but they certainly love the sport. They're learning it, and that's part of the reason I also wanted to go there, was to grow our game, and it's been a great experience.
Knights, just with the NFL team you mentioned coming into the city, a lot of people were worried would the followers just flock to football instead of the hockey games. Just when I mean, kind of a team born out of tragedy with that awful shooting that happened, and seeing what like all those guys, I saw pictures of giving blood and being part of the community. Yeah. I mean, obviously I've always thought that hockey players, we grow up differently than a lot of other professional sports, and we're kind of, you and I played junior together. We went to different events and meeting people. We're just we tend to socialize a little bit different than other team sports. I've heard that basically it's hard pressed not to find a Golden Knights like bumper sticker or shirt compared to the merchandising of the NFL team. Is there any worry that they're going to steal some fans, or are they just so ingrained just because of the success of the team and how they operate in the community?
I don't think they're going to lose. And you're right. I think, the horrific tragedy of 1 October, but that intertwined and connected the team to the community immediately. And, it was players, everybody, the whole organization was involved, which anybody would be in that sort of instance. But then what the Golden Knights did in their inaugural season sports sometimes is the best healing for people that can step away from reality and go cheer for something. And this team, it was one of the most amazing things. Right from, they win their first couple games on the road, then the emotional home opener where the first responders and all that stuff, that first year, you can't, I couldn't believe it was real. So I said, is this really happening? Is this really happening? And it kept going. So that has connected. There's a bond that is unbreakable, in my opinion, between the community, between the Golden Knights. But the NFL is a beast. It's big, and I think the Raiders coming in. You're talking about 8 home games though, and you're talking about Vegas, where you're going to get a ton of Oakland people that fly in for the weekend for the game. There's going to be a lot of locals that are excited about that, but I don't think it's going to be the same connection or to the same level of 41 home games for the Golden Knights compared to just 8 for the Raiders.
Golden Knights color analyst Shane Hnidy with us on Two Guys and a Goalie with Dustin Nielsen, walking Gage, and Matt Cassian. You guys currently in Alberta, got the Calgary Flames on Sunday night. Looked like a game that was kind of under control and let it slip away, and then got a nice deflection that found short side top corner to be the difference in that game. Overall, how would you summarize where the Golden Knights game is at coming out of that one, but as well as how well you guys have been playing as of late?
Yeah, they've been playing much better. They weren't happy with their start in Winnipeg to start off this road trip. They find themselves down 3 goals at first. Tough league to chase, although Calgary showed that they could come back. But that said, a much better start against the Flames. I thought they played a real good game. Certainly the Flames, they had pieces. It's hard to control 60 minutes in the NHL. The other team's trying to win too. And the Flames, took advantage. If you were to ask Robin Leonard, he wasn't happy with his performance. I'm not a goalie expert, but he didn't like his first 2 goals. And Calgary didn't have a ton of chances. I think the one thing I've noticed from the Golden Knights here, when Pete DeBoer's really put an emphasis since coming in about their play away from the puck, about defending. Vegas is a real fast team. I think they're one of the best teams off the rush scoring. 3 of the goals were off the rush last night. One was on the power play. But they're a team when they defend, which they've done a better job. Alec Martinez was a great pickup for them. He's a real veteran, smart defenseman, moves the puck and put the puck in the hands of their forwards. So they like to play a fast game. They certainly right now, here in Edmonton, you guys know, although you got 2 of them, but Draisaitl, McDavid, take one of those guys out of the lineup, it's a big piece gone. Well, for the Golden Knights, Mark Stone's been out. He's their best all-around player, and he's not to their McDavid Draisaitl level, but his importance is. So they've done a good job playing, without him in the lineup and finding ways to win. I think, and much like Edmonton, they've got 2 goalies that can play, so that's always beneficial.
Yeah, definitely helping go a long way. I thought the Leonard pick was really good. What has been the biggest difference with this team since the shocking coaching change that was made?
I just think details to their game defensively, and a few changes. They were a well-coached team before, but there wasn't much. It's a damaging word when you keep saying inconsistent, and that was kind of what we were saying about a team that, through their first 2 years, you knew the work was going to be there every night. You knew what to expect. Well, it was hard to know what to expect. I think he's kind of, Pete DeBoer's brought some consistency to their game. And, and I shouldn't say DeBoer, I just think the players, right? Because really it's on them. The players weren't performing to the level they needed to. Unfortunately, some good men lost their jobs. And, another good man came in and he's been able to get them kind of back on track. I think defensively they've made a couple adjustments that have really benefited them, and they've been able to be better defensively. Certainly in the high danger areas, cutting down those type of chances and playing. I think the offense has always been there, but when you're defending less, that means you're creating more because you're going the other way. And I think DeBoer's done a good job of kind of just tweaking certain areas and implementing a couple of things. But he just said this morning, he said this team was well coached. For me to come in, it was a matter of just a couple of things. I think one area he's done is they've become more of a shot blocking team, which has helped as well. So a couple areas, but overall, to me it's on the players that they just play better.
One thing before we let you go, I'd like your thoughts on, because we talk about the other teams, Vancouver, Calgary, and Edmonton quite a bit. And I think the Golden Knights would be a major concern for all of those teams with the way that the Knights, what they've accomplished over the last couple of years and now again this year really heating up. What is your opinion on the rest of the Pacific and how much of a problem some of these teams could end up being for Vegas?
My opinion this year is get in. Whoever gets in has a chance. I don't believe, of course you want to get home ice advantage, but it seems now there's more parity than ever in the league. You need a little bit of luck to win. You can find a hot goaltender. You could find, special teams could take over. And I think anybody that makes playoffs this year has as good a chance as the other. We saw it last year with the Blue Jackets knocking off Tampa, who everybody thought would just waltz right in. I think the NHL in today's game, there's way more parity, and I think when you get to playoffs, I think it's harder than ever to get into playoffs, but once you're in there, I believe you have as good a chance as any of the 16 teams that make it, and I think for Vegas, there's no easy matchup for any of these teams in the Pacific, whether they're playing one another, whether they're playing one of the wild cards. It's going to be a tough grind, and that's what makes it fun. That's what I love about it is the competition, and as players and as fans, that's what you want to see.
Shane, thanks for the time, man. We all appreciate it.
Absolutely. Good chatting with you guys. Have a great day. Enjoy the game.
Thanks, Knights.
Shane Hnidy, color analyst for the Golden Knights. And he's probably right when you look at it in the end. I mean, I would put Vegas at the top of the division, not just based on standings right now, but they've been a really good team for the last couple of years. They've been close a couple of times in the last couple of years. But outside of that, I would agree with them. Anybody else can beat anybody else in this division. And if you include the 2 wildcard teams that might come in from the Central as well. So it's wide open. It's fun.
Yeah, I'm excited about tonight. I want to see, hopefully we get a really good game where both teams show up and have their best foot forward.
What if Edmonton just gets pummeled?
What if Vegas just gets pummeled?
Oh.
I don't see that happening.
Who's in net for Vegas tonight? Do you
Probably
Fleury.
Fleury. 'Cause
Fleury?
Yeah, it's
Leonard
confirmed.
played
Fleury
think? Oh,
started.
is it? Okay.
and Koskinen, yeah.
Miko. That's a size mismatch.
And
Just-
McDavid's a little under the weather, so he might or might not play.
He'll play.
He'll play.
Played only 17 minutes though on Saturday night, which is very rare for Connor McDavid. He's got 15 points in 7 games or 8 games since returning from his injury. So
Jesus.
What are the Oilers going to do if he gets the old COVID-19?
Oh
my
jeez.
God.
Yes, knock on wood.
yeah, I can't believe you just even said that.
It's a reality.
Well, but
I hope he's got lots of
but he-
toilet paper.
But yeah,
He can
Connor,
afford it.
this entire city would take toilet paper to Connor
Oh my
McDavid.
gosh,
Do you know how many people be lining up to
I'll
wipe
give-
his ass?
I'll give him my socks.
I'll give him my socks. What were you gonna say, Cass?
Well, I was just going to say, which brings me to my next point for the whole toilet paper thing, to go back to it, is if you really needed it, you don't think like someone could come bring you some and leave it on your front doorstep for you?
Like if you really, really needed it.
Yeah.
How are they going to hear you when you're on the John? Oh, you mean before?
I mean, like before, when you start running low, Gager, not like after it happens.
Can't you just order toilet paper on Amazon?
Oh.
Be delivered right to your door?
By a drone. There you
Probably,
go.
yeah,
Problem
that'd be
solved.
good. All right, let's play Keep It or Clip It for Sport Clip Haircuts, home of the MVP experience, where it is good to be a guy. Go check them out down in Ellerslie Landing, and they've got the new one coming in Sherwood Park as well, so you can look good no matter where you are. Let's see how this first question goes over. Roberto Luongo is overrated. Keep it or clip it.
Oh, that's a good question.
It is a good
there.
question. Thank you, guys.
I'm going to clip it. I don't think he was.
No?
He was really good.
Yeah, really, really good probably is the best way to
He
describe
was
it.
really, really good.
No,
And that's
you said one really or two reallys. How many reallys are you going with?
1.5.
So he was
Really, real good.
really, real good.
He was real,
Really good.
Real, whatever.
Yeah, I'm going to clip it too because I think he was underrated at the start of his career because
When
of
he was
playing
in
Florida.
Okay, yeah, early Florida.
Because I remember Bomeister said, like, he was talking about their best player and heard about the trade. I think he was traded, and Bomeister was constant. They'll never trade him. Any team that trades him is the dumbest team ever. And then when he got to Vancouver, I think he was a little bit overrated. But I mean, he's part of probably one of the biggest moments in hockey history when he played in the Olympics. There, took over from Brodeur, right? In Vancouver.
Yeah, he was a big part of that. I just look at it because his number is retired, and obviously that was the case. He was very important to the Florida Panthers. I get it. But never led the league in goals against average. And this surprises me. This surprises me because I, too, was like, man, I'll take Roberto Luongo on my team any day. But never led the league in save percentage, never led the league in goals against average, never won a Vezina for how long he played. It seems weird that you look back on all that now, because if you would have told me before I looked this up, how many times did Luongo lead the league in goals against average, I would have been like, well, I don't know, like 3 or 4, save percentage 3 or 4. And he never did, which blows my mind. Does that not surprise you a little bit?
But did he ever have to?
He was always on really.
What do you mean, did he ever have to?
Did he ever need to?
Well, he also only led the league in wins twice in 20 years. He was on some good teams, but he just, I don't know. It's an unfair question maybe for me to even ask because I don't know how most people look at Roberto Luongo. How would you look at him? Well, you said he's really good.
Really good
Gage,
goalie.
how would you, like if I had to say one word, describe Roberto Luongo, what would it be?
It's tough because I look at winning the big one as the ultimate barometer of your career. Came close, but then in your case, how do you compare him to other goalies? Like, do you just a guy from the same kind of era? Let's compare him to like Chris Osgood. Was Chris Osgood a better goalie than Roberto Luongo?
No, but he won.
But he won, right?
But he was on those Red Wing stacked teams, right?
Yeah, but Curtis Joseph. I mean, Cujo did win some business though.
Luongo's career save percentage is .919, which is crazy.
That's
It's a pretty
ridiculous.
Which is
save
crazy,
percentage.
right?
I don't think I ever had that in a season.
And
Let
then you
alone
could
a
look at that
weekend.
too. Maybe he didn't lead. Maybe he didn't lead the league every year, but he was extremely consistent.
Exactly. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you know what? That might be the word. Consistent. Because he was always, in my opinion, he was always one of the top 7 goalies in the league, no matter what. Was he ever number 1? Well, the awards would say no, but he was never a bum. Like, what was his worst save percentage year? His last year, he was .899. Let's take out his last year. If you take out his last year, he was only under .910 once in 19 years.
That's
That's
reliable.
pretty crazy.
stellar.
Like, that's pretty reliable.
The amount of games he would play each year, too, like 70, 75, 76, 73.
Imagine starting over 1,000 games in the National Hockey League.
That would have been great. I wouldn't be here.
This blows my mind. He never won a Vezina.
Yeah, I would.
You'd
Of course
still
I
be here.
would.
All right, question number 2. Bidets should be installed in all modern toilets in North America.
Absolutely, keep it. Keep it.
How has it not happened yet? I don't know.
That's a terrible question.
Most people don't even know what they are.
Exactly. Like, how blind are we here in North America?
It's like a PVR. Like before they came out, like once you can't believe you didn't have one. You know?
You think that's what it would be like?
Oh, they're so refreshing.
I have a buddy on the PVR or the bidet.
Both.
I have a buddy on the one golf trip who's had a bidet and only a bidet at home for like, I don't know, 5-6 years. And he comes with us on a five-day golf trip. And he was losing his mind the whole time. He goes, I can't believe you guys wipe your ass on a regular basis. He goes, it's killing me right now. And I was just like, so what do you, and you can just go to Home Depot, buy one, and just install it like with a splitter off your water tank, and it's done.
Squatty potty bidet combo. It'll change your life.
Hernan, no bidet?
No, I'm down, but I mean, I think at first you would still want to do like a for sure wipe after. Like,
Well, you do the combo. You do both.
I mean, like
Is
most
it necessary?
places in Europe, real funny. My place in Germany had the toilet, and then the bidet was beside it. Right? It wasn't. So you jumped over to the bidet, right? So
Really? That would
it was
be cool.
Yeah, that was good because then you just you wipe and then you then you
Wipe.
pat, right?
Yeah.
Dry it up, depending on the cheveux, as they say in French.
What's that?
Ass hair.
Jesus.
Well, come on, guys.
Yeah.
You
I didn't know that's what.
Don't
No, but it's
What's it
funny.
called? Say it
you know
again.
what's-
Say it again.
Cheveux.
Cheveux. Cheveux de derrière.
That might be the name of the podcast.
That's what I was when I was a French chef. That's what I They didn't know what I was saying.
Je m'appelle Cheveux.
Cheveux de derrière.
Oh, oui.
Petit vidassasson.
Jus de pomme.
Jus de pomme.
Jus de pomme.
Si. Je peux parler français si tu veux.
Ooh.
Whoa.
All right, salut. Let's move along here. All right, Cam Talbot should start in the playoffs for the Flames. Keep it or clip it.
I'm going to keep it.
Yeah?
Yeah, because if we play him first round, we'll go to the second.
Cass, what do you think?
I was going to say clip it. I don't really have a reason.
I'll give you a reason. This is why I asked the question. He's got more playoff experience, and his numbers are significantly better than Riddick so far this year. Like, if you look at Hernan, have you seen the numbers between these two guys? Like, let me see if I can quickly bring it up. And
I would do
Riddick
it.
has not been good as of late. Like,
Since the stick flip.
well, yeah, since the stick flip, he's fallen off a little bit.
Karma.
And he's a good goalie. He's a good goalie, but their numbers this year, I got to bring it up here because I was looking at it earlier today, and I want to share these because it was a little surprising for me, to be honest with you, but I think it's almost justifiable that. All right, so Talbot has a .919 save percentage at 2.63 goals against average. Riddick is .907 and .297. Like you could be justified starting Talbot with those numbers, could you not?
He's got a lot of less games. Well,
He started 22 games, though, and he's playing more lately.
Yeah.
It won't happen, but I just thought it could be something we're talking about.
At least for the Flames' sake, if the old stick flipper shits the bed there, they have
You're
someone.
pretty confident
yeah.
to go to Talbot, I
Yeah.
would think. Yeah, definitely.
He's their toilet paper.
The reliable, it's nothing fancy.
Nothing fancy.
No.
Maybe 2-ply.
Doesn't always get the job done, but can do in a pinch. The Canucks should sign Tyler Toffoli long term. Keep it or clip it.
What do we? Can we define long term?
Let's say 4 years or more. But what's the number?
I'm gonna keep it. They should. But
How much?
That's the question.
I think he's at 4.7 right now. So,
I mean, the number that pops to my head is like 5 1/4. But
as he's going to be a
I know
UFA.
he's not going to sign that.
It's not a great UFA class. I think he's going to get paid.
Yeah, you could get close to 6.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if he's getting, how much do you pay? Who would you rather have, Hull or Toffoli?
Depends on the length of the deal.
That's another poll question, Gage.
Yeah, that could be. I think
Hall would run away with that one.
Well, we know which way I would go. Look at Toffoli.
You think Hall would run away with that?
I think Hall would run away with that one. You don't think so?
I'd pick Hall too, probably, but I don't think it'd be that.
But that might be how everybody
Depends on
answers
the
it.
cost.
How much?
That's a
how
good
much
point.
More,
That's a good point. Would you rather have Taylor Hall at 9 or Tyler Toffoli at 6? Let's just say that.
Toffoli at
How do you
6.
pay? Does Taylor Hall command $9 million next year?
Yep.
Yep,
Yeah.
he will. You should have been a forward, Gager.
Wow.
Toffoli's at 4.6 right now. He's a UFA. If they paid him 6, he had Louis Eriksson's our high paid forward right now. They don't like that. But Bo Horvat makes 5.5. So would you be willing to pay Tyler Toffoli more than Bo Horvat makes to keep him around?
You can't base it on that.
Well, I'm just looking at the numbers. Do you want Toffoli to be your highest paid forward?
Right. So what? Are you not going to sign him to that because you don't want to hurt Bo Horvat's feelings?
Well, no, but I'm just straight up asking. Would you sign Tyler Toffoli? If he says, I'll stay here for 4 years, $6 million, would you give it to him for the Canucks?
4 at 6?
4 years,
the rest of the
6 million?
cap. I don't mind that, and the reason I don't mind that is I look at some of their young players like Besser, Pettersson, Markstrom. They're going to have a chance here over the next couple of years to maybe try to make a dent. And if you can lock in a guy that's going to be a pretty good piece, that's not like it's expensive, but that's not a Milan Lucic at $8 million.
4 years.
He's going to score. How many years? He's scored 20. How many times?
A few times, multiple times.
Like
he's scored 20
he's
multiple
score
times.
20 goals. How much is 20 goals worth?
Close to $6 million.
6.
I would think
I'll do it at
nowadays,
6.
like, yeah.
Yeah, I would think it would be a no-brainer because they don't even know what that looks like when
Besser's there. And
when Besser's gets back, right? That could be.
Yeah,
you
it's
could
an
have some
interesting
sort of
discussion for sure.
Even McKinnon kind of, maybe not that highly skilled, but a very solid punch.
If you have no toilet paper, sacrificing your underwear is better than sacrificing your socks. Keep it or clip it.
So contingent on the pants.
Tough question.
It is a
Right?
hard
Look, I
question.
only ask the hardball questions here.
No, I'm going to clip it because most guys are very fond of their underwear now with all the sacks and the.
It's true.
the
I'm wearing
Bjorks.
underwear that costs like $55.
Yeah,
What?
What, really?
Are you serious?
Well, a 2-pack. No, but sacks cost. How much do sacks cost?
Yeah, they're like $25 for.
No,
like,
sacks are more than $25.
I get them half price.
Socks are easier.
I got the. My wife.
But what
bought
if
me
you
the,
like nice socks?
I think it depends on your footwear too. Are you wearing sandals or shoes or what's going on?
Ooh, yeah,
Dress shoes?
If I got some fancy socks, it depends what I'm wearing. Like
Not
if I'm going,
wearing my Uggs. Sorry, I had to get that in, Gage.
I'm gonna. No, I wouldn't use my underwear. I'd use a sock, for sure.
Soccer there?
Yeah, a sock.
Gager? Or Cassie said sock? Yeah.
You have fancy underwear though.
No,
Are you gonna?
here's the thing. No, I actually don't. I
You
have
do.
almost,
I've seen. You always have the fancy stuff on.
No, I have almost every single pair of my underwear is the same, and they're almost all like Reebok pair of underwear.
Ooh, that does sound
You buy,
fancy.
like, no, they're 3 packs for like $25.
Really?
Buy them from.
So you save your money for Uggs.
Yeah, basically. Well, it just I find them comfortable. They work well, so I don't need anything that's fancier. So actually, I probably would use my underwear because if I do the math, if I have a decent pair of socks on, it's probably going to be more expensive.
More expensive.
Plus, then I only have one sock, and it's like, what do you do with the other one?
That's a good point too.
Take out both.
I like
Yeah.
my Black Panther underwear. My wife got them for me.
I got some underwear for Christmas. I don't know the brand name. It's fancy writing, but they're more comfortable than sacks. Best I've ever had.
Really?
Special
Yeah.
ones that's different.
Yeah, they're
like
really
if it's
nice.
a special underwear, you don't. But
No.
If there's meaning behind it. Zach Cassian should be locked in with McDavid for the rest of the season. Keep it or clip it.
locked in.
Clocked in. No, I think you clip it. I think this is just, of course, my backup NHL goalie opinion here, but the way the playoffs might turn out with third line just being like he put the big guys on the third line there, just a little bit bang for your buck with them. I think you can move guys around with McDavid. I'd like to see Ennis there a little bit more, though, I think, of all of them. But I think you can move Cassian out of there.
Cassian, what do you say?
I'm going to clip it. You don't need to lock him in there. I think that's the first place you go, but you don't have him like this has to be this way for the rest of the year.
Hernan?
He's a good fit, though.
Yeah, I'm with the guys. Holland went out and brought 2 offensive guys. Did Gage say Ennis? I'd like to see Athanasio a little bit more with McDavid. Like, let him make mistakes with him, but let him play a couple full.
That's why I put Cassian on the right side and lock him in, because McDavid is familiar. Like, he knows what Cassian is doing. And then rotate whoever the hell you want in on the left side, but at least give him something to play with on a regular basis.
Can I just say, do you think McDavid said, I don't want to play with Athanasio?
Maybe, yeah.
I always thought that's what he said with Strome, because I don't know why Strome ever didn't get back on that line.
Do you think McDavid would actually say
I don't
that,
think he
though?
would.
I think you would.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
He probably said it with Puljujärvi.
Wouldn't you want
I
him to
guarantee he
just?
said it
Wouldn't
with
you want him
Puljujärvi.
just to roll with Ennis and Athanasiou for 3 games and don't change that line and see what they do?
7 points in their one full game together.
Yeah. I have a tough time thinking that Connor would. I mean, maybe he's asked. They probably ask him. You think the coach asks him?
Absolutely, they do. No,
Sure.
Connor, we're not going to play you with who you think you should be playing with. We're just going to play you with who you don't want to play with
Cass, did you get to choose your line mates that often?
every time.
Cass, who you want to play with tonight? Let's see here.
My line mates, which media person do I want to sit next to in the press box?
It was a helicopter line. No wings.
No wings.
All right, last one. The blue line is the strength of the Calgary Flames. Keep it or clip it.
I'm going to keep it.
Yeah?
That's their strength. It's not goaltending. It certainly hasn't been the forward group, so I'm going with the defense.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Cass. That's what they got.
I like their forward group.
And didn't they lose
Really?
Hanifin yesterday?
Did they?
Oh,
Did
I didn't
they?
see that.
left
Did he
the
go
game.
down?
Yeah. I don't know if it's serious or not. But
Well, if it's their strength, they'll have the depth to look after it. It'll be all right.
yeah.
All right, so Brad is on the Facebook page, and he says, ass hair in French is the title of the pod.
I actually Googled it, translate. So I put ass hair and I translated. So cheveux de cool.
Oh, the cheveux de coup.
But I think
Is that
we
right?
should just make the pod titled in English. Ass hair in French.
What was the first one we had, Hernan?
What did I say?
I don't know. I can't.
Clean butts.
Clean butts.
Yeah.
I like,
Yeah.
like, do you guys want to go French or just English?
What do you think? Well, didn't we do, wasn't last
Last
episode
was
a
the
different
bi-
language?
That was the Spanish.
That was the
Yeah, it's
Spanish,
El
yeah.
Fuego
We're
Baño.
bilingual.
Yeah, well, this is a worldwide podcast.
Yeah,
right?
you're right. It's actually our download numbers are huge in Quebec.
We can go ass
So-
hair or cheveux de cool.
Yeah, sure.
It's up to you guys.
Yeah, I
Let's
like it.
vote.
Cheveux de coup?
Or ass hair.
I'm big in northern France, so
I like doing it the French version so that if any little kids look at the podcast,
That's true. Yeah, that's the last thing we
That's-
want.
Yeah.
They can't listen to it. At least they could read the title.
But it's also intriguing because people are going to be like, what the hell does that mean?
That's
so
true.
Let's tune in.
yeah.
Let's subscribe.
So it's a mystery.
Exactly.
Put in parentheses underneath. We don't speak French, but we all kiss.
All
that
right, so
way.
say it again. It's
Cheveux de cool.
cheveux
The cool.
de cool.
The cool.
Oh, check
C-
out you rolling the. you've
I
been in-
tried to almost roll the tongue.
C-U-L. The
Mr.
cool.
The
Mr.
cool.
Davos over there. Just
Cheveux de cool. All right, that's going to do it for episode 45, Cheveux de cool. We'll be back on Thursday.
I love that. That's good.
It rolls off the tongue.
yeah.
It does. For our sponsors from Popeyes, Louisiana Kitchen, and Sport Clip Haircuts, keep it or clip it. Of course, home of the MVP experience. And our presenting sponsor, Oddshark. Check them out. All your sports betting information needs at oddshark.com. For Hernan Salas and Matt Cassian and Joaquin Gage, I'm Dustin Nielsen. Thank you very much for listening to episode 45. We'll be back on Thursday.